be called a man any longer, is one of the Dark Lords that pursues you. I do not think he knows what you are. Not yet. He spared the Miraluka, and that may have been the last shred of feeling that exists within him. Keep his slave close to you. I suspect there was a reason he spared her, and perhaps a reason that she survived when the rest of her people and the Jedi did not. One cannot have power of that magnitude that her master possesses and still think and perceive the universe as we do, as most of us do. I had hoped that you would not have to confront him, but her presence here has changed all that. You will have to meet him in battle. You must be prepared to sacrifice the blinded one. Perhaps her death will buy you the time you need to deal with her master.
W jaki sposób jej poświęcenie by mogło wpłynąć na bitwę? To znaczy co, on by był zajęty ciachaniem ją na drobne kawałki, a ja bym z tyłu próbował go zajść jakoś dźgnąć go mieczem. No, oczywiście trzeba powiedzieć zgodnie z filozofią Krei, że trzeba Wisas przekonać, że może mojej postaci uda się przekonać ją do poświęcenia.
If you have such power, then I would make use of it. There is no need to dirty your hands when you can convince another to drive a blade into their own
Będziemy
heart.
stać z boku i patrzeć, jak Wisas i mistrz mordują się nawzajem. Why not? To jest piękna odpowiedź.
Oh, you have promise. But wait until you have more years fall upon you, and you will see what a shell your heart will become.
I wtedy będziesz chcieć wszystkimi manipulować dookoła.
It is a technique that is almost as old as the Sith themselves. It is a means of severing connections between life, the Force, and feeding upon the death it causes. It cannot be taught. It can only be gained through instinct, through experiencing its effects firsthand. Yes, and he fed upon its destruction. It will sustain him for a time. Power? Do you think so? You would be wrong. There is no strength in the hunger he possesses, and the will behind his power is a primal thing, and it devours him as he devours others. His mere presence kills all around him, slowly feeding him. He is already dead. It is simply a question of how many he kills before he falls.
Czyli najwidoczniej mistrz Wisas ma słabość, ponieważ cały czas musi żywić się śmiercią innych istot. Może po prostu trzeba go gdzieś odciąć i sam umrze.
Nothing is impossible with the Force. It is an energy that flows through all living things, and like energy, it may be harnessed, channeled, and consumed at times. It may even be a substance that can burn and ignite. Do not think of his power as one would a weapon, or one of your warships of the Republic. It is terrible, but it is still a subtle thing. The sect of assassins that chase you feed on the Force. What he does is simply the pinnacle of what they could achieve in time. And that is why they and their techniques must be wiped out. No one again must experience and learn what her master did.
Okay.
As much as one may use the Force to bolster the wills and strengths of others, the reverse is possible, though not often used. Instead of sending one's will through connections in the Force, instead such connections are drawn upon, fed upon, and drained completely.
Jakieś wampiry energetyczne, tak?
Then you understand how terrible such a power is, and why it must be ended. It is an empty road to the dark side, and by traveling it, the price is death before one's time. He is a breach in the Force, capable of consuming the lives of those around him. Sometimes the touch is slow, as it is with his crew. It is not something he can direct or focus, much like hunger itself. He is more of a whole in the Force than a living thing. Force sensitives and worlds rich in the Force draw him. The Miraluka world was one such place. That is why where the Jedi gather, Jedi will die. He will feel it, unless they mask their presence. But KOTOR called out as a beacon to him, and he could not resist it. And he cares nothing for the Sith, or its teachings, or the Jedi. And when the Jedi are dead, he will feed on the galaxy, the Republic, and eventually consume the Sith as well. There is no future in the empty galaxy he sees, and that is why he must be stopped. The breach must be sealed before his power grows beyond what even we can hope to stop.
O kurde, właśnie nie zrozumiałem, kim jest mistrz Visas. To ten wielki gościu na tronie z Silver Surfera. Galacticus? Wow, to jeśli ja mam się mierzyć z jakimś, nie wiem, kilkusetmetrowym dziwacznym obcym, to pasuje.
Perhaps he is bound to her, as I am bound to you. If so, there may be a death served by hers. You must be prepared to sacrifice the blinded one.
Okay.
Then ask, and I will do my best to answer.
Tym razem jakoś jest nieco milszy.
There is nothing wrong with my sight, if that is your question. I see all that I need, though the seeing of things flesh and blood has failed me some time ago. They were distractions only. There is nothing wrong with my eyes. They simply have atrophied from use. They are adequate to distinguish shapes, silhouettes. If need be, I could heal them, restore my sight. But sight can prove a distraction. When one relies on sight to perceive the world, it is like trying to stare at the galaxy through a crack in the door. But that is a lesson for another time. You must learn to see crude matter for what it is, before the veil is lifted.
Czyli co, mam siebie oślepić, żeby być lepszy? Dzięki.
There is nothing wrong with...
Okay.
If need be, I...
Tak.
Ask. She did nothing to your eyes that was not already there. She has forced this upon you, but such crude methods are the markings of the Sith. Close your eyes. Feel this ship around you.
Okay,
The welding of the droid as it goes about its work.
Czyli lekcję dokładną.
Now, stretch out. Hear the rumble of hyperspace, the hum of the hyperdrive. Ignore distractions and focus on my voice. The breathing of the blinded one as she meditates in the dark. Now, listen deeper past her breathing and listen.
As my feet walk from the ashes of KOTOR, I shall not fear, for in fear lies death, and
You are strong indeed. What you heard were surface thoughts only, but it is something that masters have trained for years and never learned.
No cóż, to, że jestem specjalny, już słyszałem od mistrza samego Jedi. No, nic nowego.
That is not the real question you should ask. Is such listening enough to perceive the world around you? It is not, because to listen to the thoughts of another is much like attempting to see the universe only with your eyes. It is equally limiting. Now leave me be. I must rest.
Jej. Okej, dostaliśmy nieco więcej punktów mocy. Szkoda, że nie powiedziało nam ile to jest. Całkiem sporo, jak na kogoś, kto nie będzie z nich za dużo korzystać, ale trochę potrzebujemy, żeby rzucać te wszystkie moce obronna. I chyba
Yes.
te rzeczy można było jeszcze wybrać.
Ask, and I will...
No tak, można ją spytać o to, co... o kwestię, która nas gnębiła na pewno od początku, czy Kreia jest Jedi, czy Sith?
Does it matter? Of course it does. Such titles allow you to break the galaxy into light and dark, categorize it. Perhaps I am neither, and I hold both as what they are, pieces of a whole. Know that I am your teacher, and that is enough. Or what? Or perhaps you will simply...
Jeszcze nie. Wiem, chyba muszę zyskać jeszcze jeden punkt.
That is enough. Ask.
Chyba zapytać o to, czy znała Atris.
Atris herself is not as familiar to me as perhaps she should be. Yet I feel I know her, yes.
Czujesz, że co? Znałaś, czy...
Because Atris's path is one I walked long ago, and it is a chapter of my life that has been read and closed. She has taken the first steps, I think. We shall see. Surely you felt the righteous anger, the spoken judgments, the lack of forgiveness.
Bardzo to poczułem.
I was a historian once, gathering the relics of the Jedi, learning the ancient mysteries. Always there were more questions. One quickly learns that the Jedi Code does not give all the answers. If you are to truly understand, then you will need the contrast, not adherence to a single idea. That is why Atris and the others blamed me, sentenced me. They believed me responsible for Revan's fall.
Ty co? Ciebie? Znaczy, trenowałaś chyba?
You have already asked much. I do not wish to speak of this any longer. Ask.
Zobaczyliśmy jeszcze inne opcje dialogowe.
She... One... That...
Zobaczmy.
You have already...
Jednak.
Ask.
Wszystkie inne opcje dialogowe kończą się właśnie tutaj.
I misspoke before. Ask.
Kreia.
Ignorance. Do not let them discover what makes you what you are because you learned to live with... Ask.
Chyba to wszystko. Nie wiem, czemu nie mogę zapytać się o to, kim jest. Wcześniej mogłem, nie wiem. Może coś źle wybrałem, jakiś dialog owocował jeszcze jednym wpływem. Ale... W każdym razie to wszystko, co można zrobić na naszym wesołym statku. I teraz można skierować się z powrotem... Tak jest. Można skierować się samotnie do Askula. Samotnie, ponieważ... zobaczycie.